Welcome. This is the 116 Life, Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 140. I'm back. Your host, Ace Harris, been sick. Here with the amazing CHH's Oprah. Every time I'm away, I feel like people be like, yeah, I mean, Meah held it down. I didn't even know you was there.
Every time you're away, I let people know, listen, y'all, Ace coming back. He's real. He will be back, and I'm happy that you're feeling better, bro. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I was saying, I was talking offline, like, I've been getting sick a lot lately, and I'm like, is it because I'm getting older? I'm around kids more, my immune system? I don't know what's going on. I never was a sickly kid at all. Yeah. Now when I get sick, that junk takes me out. So I'm like, man, could be probably working too hard and stress induced.
So you have to like up on the emergency and...
You know, I don't like medicine, all those little hacks. I don't like any of that stuff.
Yeah?
Nah, okay. I probably need to start liking them. Maybe I'll be calling that a 116 Life once every 2 months.
Oh my gosh. Okay, man, I'm happy you're feeling better.
What do you do when you get sick? What's your like...
I'm not gonna lie, I've always been an orange juice person. So I'm always OD on the orange juice, but I'm not gonna lie to you, just rest.
Okay.
Like rest has just been, because usually a lot of the times when I am sick and something hits my immune system, it's because I'm not getting enough rest or I'm on the go a lot. So people think that, I mean, people of course have like, their remedies and things like that, but if there's one thing that's always been universal I think for everybody, I know that works for me, is rest all the time.
That is probably even thinking about our rest episodes that we've done. I mean, in the moment, it's great to say it, retweet, and support it. But in practice, it's like, it's hard.
No, because I'm even sitting with that now because my mom had to get on me earlier, today, before I got here, it was like, Meah, you need to make sure you get some rest. And I was like, didn't I say on 116 Life I wanted to live a rested life? Now look at me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's good having like reminders.
Have you had somebody like call you out from the show and mention what you said and been like, hey, remember on the show you said so and so? Has that happened yet? Or yeah, if
maybe I'm putting it out in myself.
Yeah.
Because like there'll be little things happening. And I'm like, dang, and I got on that camera and said, I'm gonna live a rested life.
I know. That's the one drawback to being the one opportunity to being on platform and sharing our stories and convictions is that we got receipts for what we
for receipts. Yeah,
go to 116 Life, Holy Culture. Oh, you said this, Ace. Now I see you. But speaking of rest, and I know we just came off of Mental Health Awareness Month, with rest is so important. This month, I'm excited because it's Black Music Month. You know what I'm saying? Where we celebrate the great artists, the history, the rich heritage of Black music. And I'm not saying I'm like one that like highlights that month on my calendar, but over the years it kind of has been more prevalent to me to kind of pay attention. Yeah. Maybe because my birthday's in June, so I'm just more mindful of, hey, June is a month where we celebrate Black music, and sometimes for some people that doesn't mean a lot. I don't know, what does that mean to you when you hear like, yo, let's celebrate Black music?
Man, for me, celebrating Black music just means to celebrate all the contributions that Black people have made in the music industry, from being in front of the microphone and being on stage, to people behind the stage, like producers and things like that. And even when it comes to musicians and things like that, even the part that Black people have played in all forms of music, because we play a part in all genres of music. You know what I'm saying? So giving us just like the flowers that we all deserve. What is it? What have you absorbed over the years, even being in the music industry?
I think that's good. I mean, so I ain't gonna cap like I'm out here like, penciling on my calendar. But like I said, I've been more aware of it lately. I think I'm always trying to advocate for Black people to have space to be celebrated for their contributions. And I know that comment makes some people feel jaded or confused because they're like, hey, why is there so much emphasis on Black people or Black music, especially post 2020? There's been like a whole corporate, rebranding of Blackness in media.
Oh my gosh.
Which on some ends was good, but in a lot of spaces was like, yo, y'all doing way too much. It just feels like virtue signaling. So I think for me, Black music is important because like the fact that we even call it Black music is just to pay homage to the culture that birthed specific genres that in many ways has shaped American music.
Yeah, for sure. What are some Black musicians, Black artists that you grew up listening to? I'm curious.
Yeah, for sure. I think obviously Michael Jackson comes to mind.
Yes.
Right. In terms of someone who's just shaped pop music, king of pop. And then obviously I have to think about like people like Stevie Wonder. Oh my goodness. One of my favorite artists of all time.
Yo.
The fact that, Stevie play like 5, 6, 7 instruments.
Bro, I don't know why I didn't
it's
know
not
that
just the
until
piano.
recently.
My man be out here with the harmonicas.
Everything.
I think it's the guitar. I think it's the trumpet too. Like, just a genius talent, right? And so a lot of not to get on a history buff, Meah, but like historically, America didn't historically have a music identity like way back. This is going back to like 1700s, like 1800s. A lot of what became American music was spearheaded by Black musicians, Black artists as the entertainment minstrels for the dominating culture.
Yeah.
That's the minstrel show, all that stuff.
Oh, whoa. Yeah.
So the entertainment value in America was, I'm not trying to say boring and dry, but it wasn't like
lively.
Not at all. So Black people, African Americans, people who were enslaved, were the entertainment outlet for America. And so those things have helped shape the sound of America. So when you talk about rock and roll, country, jazz, there is remnants of Blackness that has informed and influenced the sound.
That's so beautiful.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, why is that important for me? Because it's just good to pay homage. Good to pay homage and know what things came from. And then I don't know how you feel about this, like, in terms of like Christian hip hop, Christian music. What do you feel like June being Black History, like Black Music Month? What contributions or what thoughts come to your mind in terms of like kingdom music? You know what I'm saying?
Man, listen. Well, kingdom music as a whole, I know people like, just for me personally, one of the greats that raised me was Kirk Franklin. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I think that goes with like without saying. Even Fred Hammond, like, like those are two people who have shaped, I think, kingdom music for sure. And I always think back to, because I have the OG album, New Nation album with Kirk Franklin. And I love that album because it's so interesting hearing how the hardships and hurdles he had to go through to breaking forth a new sound in gospel music. Like, you know what I'm saying? How against people were and had to voice their opinion on it. And knowing who Kirk is today, even who Fred Hammond is today, like breaking those barriers, I think that's important. And then of course, when it comes to CHH, of course, thinking of people like Cray and people like Trip and Tadashi. You know what I'm saying? Like there are so many people who, even before them, who have even like made
cross movement.
Yeah, people who have pushed those barriers, and even thinking like today, like, more current times, of course, like with Wande, you know, with pushing things out, with even not her being the first woman, but first Black woman. That's a huge deal, you know? So it's cool even seeing like, over the course of time, how not even just Christian music, but even CHH, there's been barriers even broken through as far as Black music goes.
Yeah, it has. And I also want to say, shout out even the broader like contemporary Christian music scene, which, I feel like CHH is always like the bad stepchild. And if Christian music is a subset of mainstream music, which is like literally statistically 3%. People we be fighting over scraps over here. I would say CCM industry, which is like worship, contemporary Christian music, occupies a large part of that. And then somewhere in that percentage is Christian hip hop. We like in there. We're like guests, you know what I'm saying? But things are changing. But I will say I have seen some intentional angles of diversity and Black people being represented in CCM and in worship over the past 5 years. Let's talk about Maverick City. Let's talk about it.
Good point.
Saying? Like, I mean, let's talk about the run that they've had, right? Let's talk about how they were doing arena tours with a predominantly Black-led group with like people like Chandler and Naomi who don't have traditional worship voices, right? In terms of what people associate with worship. And so, to me, that's a form of Black music. I mean, obviously, people have their wrestles about whether that's, authentically gospel. I'm not here to debate the genre. I'm just saying, like, those worship space, CCM space, we've seen more people diversify.
Yes.
So I think that's a good thing to celebrate.
It is a good thing. I would even go along with that and say, even with you can see even the celebration even transpiring to events, like I know with award shows, certain award shows and things like that. There will be some award shows I would go to that were solely CCM driven, so therefore when you go to CCM events and, me being a Black woman, people don't expect for you to be as knowledgeable because you don't see many Black people being in the CCM space. Right. But I've seen, I do believe that there's still more work to be done, but I've seen growth, going to award shows, seeing, even some of us CHH, but even also on the gospel side, seeing a lot of even accepting us more on that as well.
As part of that Black
and even CCM artists as well, even on the Black CCM artists, I think even them emerging into that sphere as well has grown tremendously.
It's definitely grown. And just because things have grown, that doesn't mean that
no. So we still got work.
We got work to do. So I think it's been good celebrating some of the pioneers. Yeah, shout out Kirk. I want to bring it back to Kirk for a second. Like, this man is an American treasure,
bro. People just do not get that, yo.
He's really shaped the
whole sound,
yo.
The whole sound. People were knocking him. And shout out, Kirk is really my uncle in real life, because people really,
hold on.
He's really my uncle in real life.
What you mean, like he's your uncle?
Because that man raised me. I'm not lying to you.
I'm about to pull your lineage. I was like, hold up.
I say that wholeheartedly, just because I was raised on that New Nation album.
Yeah.
And it just blew my mind hearing people, and I will always hear my dad talk about how churches, they wouldn't want to play his music.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? And because he introduced a whole new upbeat sound that a genre wasn't doing. Like, imagine one person, well, not one person, but just being someone who's able to shape how a sound just shift. You know what I'm saying? And nobody was doing that. And like, that's why we're able to have artists like Pastor Mike Jr. and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're able to do things like that because people like
You know
Kirk
what?
have
I
emerged
got to shout out two other artists celebrating Black. I got to celebrate CeCe Winans, yo. Can we talk about how much, like, I mean, obviously she's older. She's not a young woman. She is so fresh, so relevant, so fly, so gifted, and she's still killing it. She's not performing her old catalog.
No,
she's dropping new hits, yo.
Yeah.
All my life, man, I can sing that jump right. That song brings me to like. CeCe is like she's like an American treasure, like for real, like in terms of like contributions to Black music as a gospel artist. CeCe, and she's crosses over in worship, CCM, gospel, and her early stuff with her brother BB. Their records were like contemporary R&B vibes that was playing on like R&B stations in like in the 90s. Like, talk about a legend. You know what I'm saying? So Mary.
I was just about to say them.
Okay.
I was just about to say them.
Now we on one.
No. Because Mary. Oh, man.
Yo. Them girls, those women, have the talent. Remember when Shackles dropped?
Boy, Shackles. Oh, man.
See, Shackles dropped. I was like, this is hard. I was like, this is, when I heard that, I gotta go to heaven, I was like, yo, they different.
Very different.
Because they're like, their voices the range is incredible. The songwriting, though, they writing like, they didn't just grow up listening to like church music. They got like a certain pop aesthetic to their writing that's so good. Warren Campbell. Yeah, we can go on and on about some of the greats in Black music, especially in the kingdom, man. It brings me joy. I'm gonna say this now. CeCe, I would love to work with you. So I don't know what we got to do. I just want to, write a lyric or just be in the studio. I just want to like.
And we gonna keep this for the archive for when it happens.
Yo, I just want to. I want to work with CeCe Winans. If you ask me, I want to work with CeCe Winans for sure. But yeah, listen. I think we can continue to celebrate, and I think celebrating also, we can also celebrate and challenge, right, in terms of what the Black music space can grow into. So we come right back. I want to talk about, like, get into the depths of what is like Black music. Why is this the thing, and why does that make, for some of our people who are new to that topic, why does that make maybe people uncomfortable? How we can educate them. So yeah, it's the 116 Live Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 140. I'm your host, Ace Harris with
Meah Evans. We'll be right back.
See y'all. Welcome back, y'all. This is the 116 Live on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius 140. I almost twisted up the name because I was laughing about something we just said. Yo, we ain't gonna get into that. But I think speaking of CeCe as a good segue into something that I want to speak to, like, the song that I was referencing all my life, I think it's called The Goodness of God.
Yes.
I'm the title of it, but our producer Matt was just sharing like how that song was written 7-8 years ago by Jen Johnson. Shout out Bethel Music. And CeCe recently had put that song out, sang it and released it. And there is something particular about the way CeCe sang it, not to take away from what it was already, but just the way she enhanced it, the flavor that she added to it, it just made that song have a broader appeal. I mean, I ain't gonna say it, but I gotta say it. When a Black woman touch your record, it just goes, it hits different.
It hits different.
It hits different.
It hits different.
It don't hit, it's not a better
song. It's something about, I really can't say, I really don't know how to really put it, but all I can say is like, it's something about when that Black woman's voice, when CeCe's voice saying goodness of God, I was like, oh my goodness, you know, like you know what I'm saying? Like you have it was a whole new level of you just can't explain it.
It's giving Whitney Houston "I'll Always Love You" vibes.
That's
exactly. It's giving like Dolly was like, hey, you know what? It's your song now.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think obviously shout out that record is written. I had met Jen Johnson backstage at the Double Awards, and I'm so green when it comes to like CCM people in the worship space. I didn't know who she was. I was talking to her. She was nice to Limo. They was presenting together, and I was like, yeah, and yo, you sing? And she was like, yeah. And then I see her like win the award for the best written song, and I had to DM her humbly and like, hey, I didn't know you wrote that song. My wife played all the time. Nice to meet you. Thank you for being kind to me and Limo. So I think it harkens back to like when Black culture adds flavor to certain things. Like you say, it's not a matter of better. It's just a different perspective. And a lot of times the marginalized voices hadn't had the privilege to flavor things because it was kind of kept in silos or it was exploited for entertainment purposes or whatever. So, I mean, thinking about Black music, what do you feel, what is it about Blackness that adds that flavor that you feel like is important for us to celebrate and also look into how we can keep doing that? Like what is it about Blackness that adds that flavor?
I think you said it best. It's about our perspective on things. And it's funny that you brought up a gospel song. I remember there was a time, The Blessing by Elevation Worship was like really, really going big, like really doing big numbers. It was like charting, things like that. It was like the worship song of the year. And then I remember finding a gospel revamp of that song. Ace, when I tell you, of course, you know, they was singing on that song. And I was trying to think, I was like, man, like, and to answer your question, I think it's just our perspective and our take, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, some of us grew up soulful, so therefore we bring a soulful feel to it. Sometimes some of us are, you know, are grungy. I don't know, just there's certain things about even like the way their voices were like, you know, raised or being or trained in a certain way. That sometimes it was trained or sometimes it just comes naturally. You know what I'm saying? That I think it's just the beauty of a perspective of a Black musician, a Black artist. That just, I think, just kind of adds a different zest, a flavor, just a fresh take. I think that's really just what it is, just a fresh take on the music.
You said soul. Thinking about, I want to kind of talk through like, what does that come from? Because specifically in like America, you know, those that pain, that angst, that those notes, they're coming from a certain place. And a lot of times it's coming from a place of being underserved historically. So like think about it like the soul food that we all love. You know what I'm saying? As we're talking about it with Matt, it comes from this is the scraps. Y'all didn't have access to
the prime meat.
So you had to literally make lemonade out of lemons because that's all you had. You had to make fried chicken out of the chicken scraps. You know what I'm saying? So I also feel like this is why I kind of get a little bit protective of Black music, or why? Because some people are probably like, hey, so what? Why do you have to call it Black music? Why do we have to have a Black Music Month? And unfortunately, not every voice had a voice historically in America. I mean, would you agree with that?
I would agree.
And so there needed to be a distinction of the sound to give it a voice. So there wouldn't be a need for Black music if Black people were celebrated musically, culturally. It wouldn't be a Black History Month if our history wasn't erased. It wouldn't be a Black church if they allowed us to go to church. It's like people always try to like, well, what about white music? Well, I mean, you know, that's like, it was already kind of there.
The voice was already there.
Yeah, it was already there.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it took us, you know, to be able to be elevated. So therefore, this is why months like this and conversations like this are great, because how are we going to be able to spotlight and highlight, you know, these amazing moments, songs, things like that, if we don't say anything, and if we don't give flowers when it's due. I
can hear. Do you feel like people who are like, so they're like tolerating this are probably like, all right, I mean, this guy's been like a couple 100 years, you know, all right, is everything leveled out now? What is your thoughts of people that may say that and may be tired of the Black History, Black Music Month conversation and the need for these spaces to be celebrated?
I don't think anything, I almost said something real bad and I shouldn't say that. I think every person, whether they know it or not, enjoys black music. Because what they just don't know is that someone, this is just me personally, I feel like a black musician, a black artist played a part in every genre, whether it's current to this day, whether they're in the studio or on the mic, or they were just playing the instrument, or they set the foundation years ago.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So it's anyone who's tolerating it, it's necessary, because what they may not know, it just may not be a reason why some may not know Ace.
Sure.
Where that, you know what I'm saying? Like you're just not aware of the fact. And that was a big thing even recently when it came to country music.
Oh yeah.
No one knew that
good.
black people played a part in that.
That's true.
So therefore when they were doing numbers,
Beyonce,
things like that, you know what I'm saying?
Shabuzi, all that, yeah.
Exactly. So they think that we were merging into something when we've been here all along. You know what I'm saying?
Well said,
it's important for us to shed light, because we could be educating some people. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So I think it's important for all of us just be able to be in the know and in turn give us our flowers. You know,
sure. I think that's good. Celebrate more. Like, and then I'm gonna take obviously you can talk about Elvis, rock music, and how he's like essentially Matt was saying some of his biggest songs were basically covers of black songs.
Yes.
And you can talk about rock and roll. This has happened a lot of times, but my perspective is like I'm an 80s baby, so my history lesson, my research, I'm not gonna present myself as some historian that knows all the details on all those things. But what I can speak to in terms of Black Music Month and celebrating it, and also challenging the culture to be more celebratory of it, is hip hop. Like the fact that they gave Will Smith the Grammy Award. Like they didn't televise it. It was like an offshoot thing. And then hip hop was birthed out of just the natural like assembling of cultures in New York and urban communities, black and brown people, just out of the natural youth culture at the time. And I remember when it first came on the scene, it was considered not music. It was not, because music was composed. It was like keys, chord, structure, melody.
Right.
Rapping wasn't considered an actual form of music.
Yeah.
When I'm like, that's so hilarious to me.
Yeah.
But that actually came to hurt hip hop in a way where like, so think about the producers, right? Like obviously hip hop was birthed out of like sampling. I don't know if you knew this, but like we didn't have no drums. They didn't have no studios. They literally just took vinyl records on high performing or popular soul songs, and they would wait till there was like a section where the beat was by itself. The drummer had a open space, and the DJ would like from turntable to turntable capture that 4-bar loop and basically make a.
You are kidding me.
And that became the music bed, the foundation of hip hop. And they would rap over these break beats. The DJ was literally in real time in the Bronx, going from 2 bars from turntable to turntable on a little break beat from a soul song where the drummer happened to be having a solo. That's what birthed the sonics of hip hop, and which is innovative, right?
That's crazy.
We didn't know, and they would like record that to like a tape in real time to make so the beat would sometimes be off grid because you're going from turntable to turntable, keeping the beat in real time at these parties. You know, this is beautiful. But the musicologists didn't consider that music. Fast forward in the space I work, talking about Christian hip hop, you know, CCM. There's times where like people don't consider hip hop production songwriting. They don't respect it as an art form, and so we're like, I've heard people tell me this. Yeah, Christian radio is not going to play anything with 808s on it and drums on it, like hip hop.
Oh, I've heard that too.
And it makes me, and I know we're here to celebrate Black music, but we also got to challenge the culture to be like, yo, that's offensive. Because what you're telling me is you're literally discriminating against a sonic and demonizing as not dignified because it doesn't fit your cultural understanding of music. And you're not giving, and if I'm pulling the receipts, some of the biggest streaming songs and going viral in Christian music is like, it's 808s, it's slap, it's black music that's driving those sonics and sounds, but it's still being gate-kept from mass consumption, which is like, it's whack. It's really whack.
How do you feel about, how did that make you feel? I guess being someone who's being someone who's in the genre, but like a lover of hip hop, but also like, you know, a lover of CHH, you play a part in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, how did you grow even past that with like, you know, hearing opinions like they're not going to play CHH or 808s on?
Shout out to barriers that's been broken, but I feel like, yo, listen to the kids. I mean, not to quote Kanye, but listen to the kids, right? There's some corporate structures that make those decisions. I get it. It's like Christian radio is dominantly supported by monthly donors who are giving money to those stations to keep playing certain kind of records. Demographics lean 45 and up, lean majority white, lean majority female. So I get it. Those 808s are not something they want to hear. But their kids in the car, listen, they slamming this. They slamming some Lecrae, some 1K Few, even Hovey, who's a white artist but makes black music. Yes. So it's like, I think that in celebrating black music, we need to like stop in the Christian music specifically. We got to stop gatekeeping it because it's literally it's unfair and it's really annoying.
Yeah, I love how you said that with a smile.
Yeah, it's just annoying. It's whack, yo.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, that's just my hot take. And I had a question for you though.
Okay.
How could Christian hip hop better represent black music? What's the opportunity here? How could Christian hip hop is Christian hip hop black music?
Is Christian hip hop black music?
I mean, that's a.
I would say so.
You say so, yeah.
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you think?
I think it aspires to be at times, but there's times where it considers its high support from, no offense, white structures, and that influences the purity of it at times.
Oh,
you feel me? And I'm not saying like I'm not guilty of it. I'm just saying, like the patronage of white structures and at times dilutes the purity of Christian hip hop to where it aspires to be black music, but it also has to pay those bills because for some reason we've decided, we've created structures and systems that black music just this is not me. It's just not as profitable. It's not as monetizable. There's some hack or some conspiracy out here where it's like white artists make more than black artists. We can go down to gospel's like not as. I mean, it's just a fact.
No,
right?
it is.
Like look at Taylor Swift's numbers and look at Beyonce's. It's just kind of like yeah. So yeah, I think it aspires to be. I think we could just do a better job of giving more space being given, not trying to solve it and everything, and then celebrating the progress we made. Shout out to people like Show Baraka, Propaganda, people like Swoop, who have like stood in the gap and held Christian hip hop to respect black music and consider it and how it's being created, shared, and distributed. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but outside of that, Meah, I think we could talk for hours about that, but I think we should also think about how, from a kingdom standpoint, why is this important? So yeah, when we come back, we can talk about that some more. This is the 116 Life Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 140. I'm your host, Ace Harris, here with Meah.
Listen, we'll be right back on the 116 Life.
Welcome back, y'all. This is the 116 Life on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 140. Hanging out with Meah Evans, talking about Black Music Month. And a funny story just came to mind. Like, thinking about like the differences of black music and how it's fleshed out, how it's expressed culturally between, let's just say, between black people and white people. Like, so Limo Blaze was on the KB Glory Nights tour. And obviously Limo Blaze is an Afro gospel artist from Nigeria living in the UK. His music is very syncopated, very rhythmic. And my man changed his set like in the third night. He changed his whole set list. So the KB tour was obviously like a predominantly whiter base of like predominantly white, predominantly male. Okay. I think KB's basis leans that way for whatever reason. And Limo was on tour, and so Limo was like, "Yo, I had to change my whole set," because he was like, some of the crowd they had like one or two moves, and it was just up and down. They couldn't really sway. A lot of Limo's music is like it's side to side, it's rhythmic, and he had to like be mindful of the culture he was performing in front of and make the set just a little bit more down the middle.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Not to lose, but just figure out how to convey these Afro gospel songs in a way that's like more palatable for a different demographic. You know what I'm saying? So it makes you think about, you ever been at church when it's like black and white people and it's like a worship song?
Yeah.
Hey, have you seen the difference in how we clap? Is it?
Yes. And it's funny, shout out to Matt, because he was talking about that. And I had to fix my face when we came back on air because I was thinking, dang, I was trying to count on it's 1 and 3, right?
So the joke is like white people clap on the 1 and 3.
Yeah.
And black people on the 2 and
4. Right.
Like,
yeah, right.
And
so I was
like,
thinking, I was like, I wasn't even trying to find it. It's just like not even
like,
in my. No, I'm thinking I can never find the 1 and 3. I'm like, that doesn't even, the way I guess I'm wired. I was just like, I can't even find that.
We are very much a rhythmic people. We are very like we like rhythm. Rhythm is like our drums. The groove is very important.
Yeah, very important.
Like sometimes, like so one day has the send that song out, and man, watching some of the watching some of the dances, bruh. And I got 2 left feet. I can't dance, but there's a pocket we just had.
No, it is a pocket. No,
and some folks ain't got that pocket.
Listen,
that pocket is outside.
Have you
pants.
ever like gone to like, okay, let's say like a wedding reception, and like like even though you can't dance, like you gotta, you gotta groove to.
You gotta groove.
People always ask you like, I remember one time I went to, where was I at? I think I was either in like Hilton Head or Savannah or something like that. And wherever was playing the wobble, the line dance. And when I tell you, of course, like we were the only chocolate chips up in that cookie.
Not chocolate chips.
So
please.
with my family, we started doing it, and people were thinking that we invented. They were like, "Oh, did you just make that up on the spot?" And I was like, "No, like this is but like teaching, bring everybody in, like we all could like teach the dance." But yeah, I'm trying to think what made me bring that up. It's like the differences are like are interesting, and they're kind of cool being able to bring them in on it.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny that rhythmically black people and white people just don't have the same. Yeah. They don't hear the same beat.
Yeah, we don't even hear things the same.
And so when you watch, like, you ever been in a room like swag surfing with some?
I remember.
They really be surfing. The swag is gone.
We just riding away. Yeah.
We just surfing.
Yeah, there's a difference.
We're on surfboards, clearly. It's like surfing, boy. No,
surfing, boy.
I think it's hilarious, but it also makes me think about Kingdom, Christian hip hop, and there's always been this remnant of like white musicians, white artists who do make what I call black music, and they do it well. I mean, there's a laundry list of them who I would say. I mean, I'm thinking about Amy Winehouse, Justin Timberlake, Elvis, Eminem, and then bringing it to our space, you have people like Hovey, Andy Mineo, Martha Menizzi. She be Martha
listen,
got that.
I didn't even know she was. She white.
She white. She's white. She like blonde hair.
Everything.
I'm like, I'm like, Martha, where'd you get this?
Who taught you how to sing?
Yeah, she's hard. Her song is classic. I've actually talked to her husband before. Great people. But I think it's also, historically, and something me and Matt were talking about were like, based on the economic structure of music and the imbalance in privilege, white artists historically would borrow, or let me say it more bluntly, steal black music, black ideas, and exploit and profit and not pay homage or credit to. That's happened like time and time again. Yeah. I mean, there was even a big blow up in CHH a year ago, which I don't want to talk about right now, but there has been a narrative of white artists stealing black music and running with it. Yeah. I think now, I ain't saying it doesn't happen again. I think there's a little bit more sensitivity to white artists who naturally make black music. Andy said it on his song with Lecrae. I'm just a white boy excelling in a black sport. Like, shout out, that line says so much. There's so much in that. I mean, what did you think about when you first heard that lyric?
I thought it was dope because it's.
Did it make you feel uncomfortable?
No, I thought it was dope because it's like you're. I'm trying to think of the right way to put it. just a white man excelling in the black sport. Cause I think it was just giving homage in a way of saying that, like, you know, like I recognize that there are black people who have created the genre that I'm in. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm grateful to be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm excelling in it, but I'm not going to discredit what they've what they've built and, like, you know, how great it is because of them. Yeah.
It's like Eminem had a line in one of his songs where he said, if I was black, I would have sold half. I don't have to graduate from high school to know that. Like, it paying, like, there is a sense of white artists who do black music have a statistically better chance to be more commercially successful. Part of it, which is just plainly, they are the majority culture, right?
Yeah.
So, like, there's more white people in America, in the world, than black. Well, not in the world, but specifically in American context. Yeah. It's just a bigger audience. So if someone's a white artist doing black music, it's almost like if there's a novelty there or like an intrigue there that gives that person access. But I also feel like there are artists, like specifically me and Hovey have talked a few times, like, who's like, he was like the white kid at the black lunch table in his high school. You can kind of hear that, but he tries to be very sensitive to and tries to, like, look, this is how he naturally creates, and I'm gonna pay homage, I'm gonna pay respect. And when it's time for platform on my tour, you know, he took out, you know, artists that didn't necessarily have the same commercial success. A Big Breeze, Tory Deshawn. Like, I think that's a way for white artists who do black music to just pay homage. Don't exploit or extrapolate, but excel and pay it forward. Make room, make space for black people to participate in your success and shine. And if you have a spotlight, share that spotlight. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what are your thoughts about that?
I think that's very key.
Yeah.
I think that even goes back to the Andy line that we were talking about. You know what I'm saying? Just being able to give credit where credit was due, like we were saying prior. Yeah.
Like, make space. And so I think, you know, it's a kingdom thing too. On the other side of it, Meah, though, I think we also have to be careful. Like, how do we in Christian culture celebrate diversity, celebrate black music, black people, but still keep kingdom over culture? This is a critique to, like, our folk, you know what I'm saying? Who are with a marginalized group, with a generally underserved. How do we make sure we're lifting up our people and giving space, celebrating, and making sure, hey, at the end of the day, y'all, it's going to be an eternal glory where none of this, I mean, it's not going to really, is it really going to matter? How do we give space to make sure kingdom still prioritize over culture, race, nationality, ethnicity? Or should we? Is that even a thing is that even the right question to ask? You know?
Well, I think it is right. I think this was my brother-in-law who said this, but I think before, yes, I am black, but I'm also Christian. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to be careful of where we level that. You know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause some people will put their race, their culture, ethnicity above their faith. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, they'll some people will I've had moments like that where I put my blackness above my Christianity, you know what I'm saying? So, but knowing the fact that, of course, using those things to, of course, my advantage, because I can't help that I'm black, you know, and things of that nature. But, of course, when it comes to diversity, I think all of us being able to see that our differences bring us all together. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what, you know, that Bible verse where it's like, you know, the hand and, like, it helps other parts of the body. You know what I'm saying? Like, where it's like, just because, you know, one person's black, one person's white, doesn't mean that we can't create anything. That means that we can't create music, that we can't add to a genre or things like that. Just because one person is Latino, because the other person is Asian, doesn't mean that we can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, because we're different. That's a highlight, you know, like that's a win. What do you think about that?
I think that's great. Our distinction is it's a win.
Yeah.
I think about a Bible verse that comes to mind where it says, "We are neither Jew nor Greek, male nor female, all are one in Christ Jesus." I think it's in Galatians. Don't quote me, but I think that verse. I mean, there's many instances in the Bible where diversity was celebrated or discrimination was penalized. Like, it was like when Moses married an Ethiopian woman, and his sister and his brother were hating on him because of that. God punished them. It's like, hey, you can't criticize this person because they're not of the same cultural ethnicity of you. And he dealt with them, right? At the same time, there is a oneness in Christ that unites cultures. the Gentiles, the Jew. There's something special about how the death and the blood of Christ unites people, or it levels the playing field. It should.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, in a sinful world, it is imbalance. It is man. Why the white artist got all these things and white church got all these success? Why why Andy Mineo up here and this? Why are these imbalances? Because we live in a sinful world where cultures are prioritized over kingdom all the time.
Yeah.
Our biases inform what we like, subscribe to, celebrate, tolerate, all that stuff. But I think the charge for us is like we should celebrate diversity, celebrate the people who are underserved, but we should never ever, but we can't fall into the trap of like trying to balance the scales to where we tip them, to where we're like, oh, black people have been marginalized, so let's celebrate black people by pushing anything that's not black down and standing on top of that. And it's like, that's not a kingdom agenda. That's a cultural agenda. That's a worldly agenda. We're trying to balance the scales to where we see ourselves as all one in Christ Jesus. We're celebrating black music, Mike. We're celebrating the marginalized in a way that God would, because he cares about all of our cultures, all of our worldviews, all of our perspectives. So yeah, I just want to make sure people don't run away with the celebrating blackness means dunking on every other culture. It's like, that's not really kingdom. You know what I'm saying?
Celebrating black music means celebrating music. And Matt said that off air. Like, you know, like that we are all, I love though how you said the oneness of it all, because the blood levels out all of us when it comes to, you know, when it comes to faith. And if anything, that's the thing, because you know sometimes people highlight differences, and differences kind of make you go the opposite way because you feel like you won't understand or you don't have a common ground. But when it comes to kingdom, like that, our cornerstone is the main reason of what brings us where our meeting place.
That's good. Like we should lean into.
We should lean into,
And when I'm saying lean in, to make it practical, I'm like, lean in and allow you be you. You be, if you a white person, be you.
Yeah.
Be you. You bring all your natural leanings without, I mean, you gotta discard the sinful stuff. Be your true self in my space, right? And then on the flip side, let me walk into your space and feel okay with me not code switching to make you uncomfortable. I'm gonna be myself too. And there's gonna be a little bit of discomfort, a little tension, but that's where I think God does the best work, when we're bringing our full selves, and God can intertwine and shape. And then through those relationships, through those bonds, growth happens, understanding happens, and then we're all literally standing side by side in the kingdom, plowing together, creating dents in the culture and making an impact in a way that celebrates everybody. So,
oh, that's so good.
Yeah, I think that's enough. That's enough said. What you think?
No, I think that's great. That was great, yo.
I'm gonna go play some CeCe Winans and some Martha Menezes.
Nah, I was about to play some of them on the ride home for sure.
I feel it. It's the 116 Live, y'all. Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 140. Shout out Matt for killing it today, giving us a lot of perspectives. And we'll see y'all next time.